Welcome to the Voices of Pueblo podcast. I'm really excited today because if you've read the current July issue of the Pueblo Star-Journal, you'll find a fascinating story about 4-H here in Pueblo. And we're really lucky today because we have 6 students with us, and we're going to learn quite a bit about what it's like to be in 4-H today. And just myself personally, I had a lot of misconceptions. I always thought that you had to have an animal in order to be a part of 4-H. Boy, have I learned a lot. So, and the other thing we should remember is that the Pueblo County Fair, which is coming up, is really kind of one of your showcase events during the year. So we're going to make sure that we remind people when that is and where it is so that they'll be able to go and see all the great things that you guys have been doing. So I'm going to first start out with one of the first questions. But before we do that, I'm going to ask you to just introduce yourself and let us know if you're currently in school or if you've graduated, and then we'll go into some of the more deeper questions. So why don't we start?
Hi, my name is Kelly Sloan. I am a student at Pueblo County High School.
Hi, I'm Delana Bowens, and I am homeschooled.
Hi, I'm Jessica Hall, and I am a current student at Pueblo County High School.
Great. Well, we're going to start with you since you're holding the mic there. So when we start looking at, you're at Pueblo County High. So, and what grade are you in now?
I'm going to be a upcoming junior.
Junior.
Yes.
So when did you actually start 4-H? When did you start the actual program?
I started 4-H when I was 9 years old, and I was first introduced to it with the dog project. And I really enjoyed it, and then I got more into it, and I started doing more stuff. I got into cake decorating, and I eventually got into livestock and showing market goats. So it's been a really cool journey, and I think that everyone should definitely check it out if they're looking for some new stuff to just introduce themselves to.
So what was it about the dog project you said when you were, what is the dog project? I mean, what was it that really interested you, and why did that that was your real entrance into 4-H?
Yeah, so it was really interesting to me because I love my dog, right? And we just had gotten her, and she was a puppy, and we thought if we need to train her, then I think that 4-H would be the best way to do that. And, I was a really shy kid growing up, so my parents also thought, hey, if you can get some training for your dog as well as meet some new people, work on your social skills, that would be a kind of 2-for-1 type of thing. And the dog project, it's really cool. You get to show your dog, and you get to train them. You get to go in with your best friend. You get to go out with your best friend, and you get to have some really cool stuff. You get to earn some awards like belt buckles. You can get bags, beds, chairs, and it's really been a cool experience for me. So
I guess we have to ask, what kind of dog? Do you still have your dog?
Yes, she is 7 years old. She's been with me throughout the entire thing. And she is a Labrador Greyhound mix. So.
And did you get to show her then as part of that whole process?
Yes, I've been showing her for 7 years. She's the one project that I've kind of stuck.
I was just going to ask you.
Yeah.
So basically every year you've continued with the dog project with your dog.
Yeah, the dog project is the one project that I've stuck with throughout my entire years, and then I've just kind of built off of that. So.
And then you said something about cake decorating.
Yeah, that was...
Tell me about cake decorating. Again, I'm just surprised. I mean, it's fascinating to see all the different things that you can do.
Yeah, so cake decorating, that was kind of a one-hit wonder for me. I tried it. Obviously, that's what you can do in 4-H. You get to try stuff. If you don't like it, you don't necessarily have to stick with it.
Had you ever baked before, or was this the first time?
I mean, I bake casually, but I never actually got the chance to show it to people. And so cake decorating, it was a really cool thing for me to do. I got to bake a cake, and I got to decorate it to a theme, and it got judged, and I ended up getting second place at county fair. So first year, didn't really know what I was doing. That was pretty cool.
And did you get to eat it? You said you got to eat it too?
I did get to eat it, yeah.
Okay.
So
I was going to say you didn't have to give it away or something like that. And then you said you were in second place.
Yes.
Now, did you repeat that? Did you do that project again, or was just one time enough?
That was my 1 year, and then I got into the goat project because I think I'm more of an animal lover, and I work well with animals more than just other stuff. So.
And you said goat. I mean, is this an animal you already have that you felt, or you thought, well, now I need a goat?
Well, okay, so after being in the dog project for 4 years, I've seen all these other kids doing the livestock projects, and I'm like, that's kind of a cool thing to be doing. I think that could teach a lot more dedication and, grit for me. And so I asked my parents, and I'm like, I think I could honestly handle the goat project. And so we got 2 market goats, and it's a lot more discipline, a lot more hard work than the dog project, definitely. But first year doing it, I did okay. I got 5th place showmanship, 3rd place in the meat class, so it wasn't that bad. And now my 7th year in 4-H, I've done it for 3 years. This is going to be my upcoming 3rd year in the goat project. So,
and is this, I know when I went to the county fair the very first time, a lot of the animals go up for auction. So would this be one of, like, if you had a goat that you wanted to put up for auction, that's where you would do it?
Yes, this is where you would do it. You don't necessarily have to. There is a new rule that you don't have to if you don't want to, but I think
if you really love your goat, you keep your goat.
Yes, but you wouldn't be able to show them again, which I think is a bummer. And it honestly teaches really good social skills, and because you have to go up to a buyer and you have to go to a business and invite them to the auction.
Oh, so see, there's a whole story behind the story, because I just was at the auction and I was kind of amazed at all the different people. And it sounds like there's kind of a behind the scenes culture with a lot of these, like there were businesses, there were ranches, there were families. So it sounds like that's just an annual tradition where certain people try to bid for, because there were a lot of things for auction. So that we'd have to do a separate podcast just to talk about going out. But those are great skills. How did you like going out and meeting some of these people? Or did you say you kept your goat?
No, I've sold them.
So you did. Okay, so what was that process like, going to someone to say, hey, would you like to buy my goat?
So first year, it was really stressful. I had to go to the president of the bank on the south side right here.
Which one did you, was it Minnequa on the south side?
On the south side.
Because they're used, I saw they were a big buyer.
Yep. And so it was honestly really nerve-wracking my first year, because, I didn't really know what I was doing. And but he was really nice. I went up to him, introduced myself, said, I'm Jessica Hall. I show market goats at the Pueblo County Fair, and I would love to introduce you to and invite you to the auction. And he was really nice about it. He showed up, and, it's a really cool thing, because you get to just work on your social skills, and you're introducing yourself, and you're building character for not only you, but just everyone in general, because you're taking them to the sale and you're showing them, hey, this is what's happening in our community right now. So it's
and is
really
that
cool.
the only time that the potential buyers get to see the animals, or can they see the goat before the actual auction?
The goats are actually just hanging out in a barn.
Okay.
Along with all the other livestock. So they can go around and just look at them if they want to. But for the auction, it kind of just shows the animal as well as the person. So it kind of just shows, look at my hard work, look at how hard that I worked with this animal, and it's really good for the kids. And
so do you just go to one? I mean, what if they don't buy it? I mean, are they obligated to purchase? I mean, how does that actually work? Because it sounds like you'd have to strategize and maybe get 3 people that might be interested in buying it, and then you get a little bit of competition too.
Yeah, so the good thing about that is it's not just that they want the meat, because they don't have to take the meat if they don't want it.
I'm sure there's a marketplace for that too.
Yes, because they're the main reason that they auction and they bid is because they want to help the kids, because they see how hard they've been working and they just appreciate it. But then they get into a bidding war, and it's kind of cool, because you're thinking, oh man, look at me go, because I worked this hard for this success and everything. So it's really cool.
And so where does that money go once they say they, the auction, the winner they pay for the money, and then do you get that, or does it go into a big pool and then it's divided up? Where does that actual auction money go?
Okay, so it goes to me.
Oh, it does. So you actually are the recipient.
Yes, I am the recipient, yes. And that can go towards, anything you want it to go to. I'm personally trying to work it up towards my college tuition.
Oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
That's always a good cause. And
you'd have to sell a lot of goats, though, with the way tuition is these days. It's really expensive.
It's all right.
That's great, though. Well, that's great. Let's move on and just... we'll pass the mic here. And so remind us again which school you're going to, and you're homeschooled, I think you said. Yep. Tell us about that. Are there other students that aren't, in, say, you're at County High and you're homeschooled. Are there other students that are homeschooled that are also part of 4-H?
I haven't met any yet.
Okay. So how did you get involved in it? When did you decide to go into 4-H?
My mom told me all about it.
Was your mom in 4-H when she was younger? Okay,
Yeah.
I had a feeling there was probably a connection in the family. So what did your mom say before all of this happened? Did she kind of share with you some of her stories when she was younger in 4-H?
Yeah, she shared the stories of when she was in 4-H and is still sharing them with me.
She still is. And did she have an animal? Because and I shouldn't be always talking about animals because we're going to get into all the other different things. But for me, that was always the thing. I thought you had to have an animal if you were going into 4-H. What was your mom's animal that she had when she was in 4-H?
I don't remember.
Chickens and rabbits. Chickens and rabbits, okay. And so what about your experience now? So what are you doing as part of the 4-H program?
Cake decorating, leather, sewing, photography, beekeeping, and rabbits.
So just a few animals there, but I like some of those other ones. So it seems like cake decorating is pretty popular. Was that one of your most popular ones?
Yeah.
Cake decorating. So how does that work? So if you're homeschooled, do you go to a clubhouse or do you meet with other 4-Hers, or are you doing this at home? I mean, clearly your mom's already been a 4-Her, and still I think you're a 4-Her for life for many of them. Exactly. So how does it actually work?
It works by going to a class.
Okay.
You have to bake the cake, make the frosting ahead of time.
Right,
Make sure you have the right frosting tips.
Right.
And then the cake decorating teacher tells you what you have to do with the cake.
Right.
And after you're done, you can go home, share it, eat it. I give it to the fire department because my dad works there.
There you go. So that's a good place to go. So were you in any competitions? I guess you got second place. You said, did you put any of your cakes into competition?
Yes, I did.
And how did you do?
Did I get grand champion?
Reserve. Okay. So where does reserve fall in the whole category? If you have first, the top, where's reserve and all of that?
Going to state fair.
Okay, so it actually qualifies you then to go into the state fair. So that's the highest level, I guess, is with the state fair. So, and then you said, what were the other classes that you also took with 4-H?
Leather, sewing, rabbits, photography, and beekeeping.
Okay, so that's a lot. So talk about the leather or some of the other classes that you did.
Leather, I love because last year I did a knife sheath, and that made it to state.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're really serious. I mean, you like the competition, don't you?
Yeah.
And how long, say for example, with this sheath, how long did it actually take you to make the sheath?
Altogether, just over the summer and through the winter a bit.
So you were given instructions and then you have classes and they kind of showed you step by step?
Yeah.
And the other one you talked about photography, which is something I love too. Talk a little bit about photography. How are you liking that?
I love it. They're teaching me bug's eye view and a bird's eye view. So
okay.
Close up and then far away.
So tell me, are you doing digital or are you doing traditional print? Are you actually in the soup in the darkroom, or is it just digital?
It's kind of both.
Oh, wow, that's fantastic. Because sadly, we lost a lot of the old traditional photography printmaking, but it's kind of coming back. So that's exciting to see. Have you been able to show some of your photography work?
I'm doing photography this year.
Oh, this year. Okay.
Last year.
Okay. So that'll be the first one. And then I think rabbits, you said. So it sounds like, have you had rabbits before, or is this a new thing that you wanted to do with 4-H?
I had it last year, but my rabbit died before I could show it.
Oh, I'm so sorry. What was your rabbit's name?
Mr. Cuddleboots.
Mr. Cuddleboots. How did Mr. Cuddleboots get? I mean, I have all these images in my head now. How did you come up with that name?
So he's a Himalayan.
Okay.
And he had like black spots on his feet and looked like little boots.
Okay.
And he was really cuddly, so I called him Mr. Cuddleboots.
There you go. It's a perfect name, and people know right away why. So, well, I'm sorry for your loss.
It's okay.
Have you gotten another rabbit since then?
Yeah.
And what's your new rabbit's name?
Hopper.
Well, that's real simple there. Was he hopping around, and that's why you called him Hopper?
She is, and I got her from my friend.
Okay, that's good. That's good. So now, what grade are you now? What level are you? I know you're homeschooled, but where are you in?
I'm going to 7th.
7th grade, okay. And so you plan to continue with the 4-H program as you move forward?
Yes.
Okay. What when you think of 4-H, I mean, if you were going to explain that to someone else, if you wanted to share your 4-H experience, what would be some of the things that you would share with your friend why they should participate or why they should sign up?
Well, they should join because it's really, really fun.
Okay.
And it doesn't just have to be animals.
Right, exactly. Well, that's what I learned because I was in the old school where I was thinking, I can't do 4-H. I don't have an animal. All my animals, well, I had a dog, but I thought you had to like a cow or a horse or a pig. And that's, I was more urban versus rural. So it's kind of hard when you live in those situations. But, well, I'm glad you like it. And do you have any other, well, it sounds like you don't know any other homeschoolers. Maybe you should go out and campaign to get some more students from the homeschool community.
I should.
You should? Okay. That's going to be your homework. We're going to find out where do you go to advertise homeschoolers to get more people to sign up. So let's move on. Let's go. You're at County High, right?
Yes, sir. I am.
Okay. And what grade again?
I'm going into my senior year.
Oh my gosh. So you've gone through the whole arc so far. But when did you start originally?
So I started 4-H in 2016. So this is going into my 9th year.
Wow, 9 years. Now, are you the only family member, or do you have others? Like we have mothers that were in 4-H.
So my older brother, he was in 4-H for a couple years. He aged out. I think he was in it for 3 or 4 years.
Now you say age out. What's the age limit?
So I believe it's 18 is when you age out.
So you really just have to, they just get rid of you at that point.
Pretty much,
You have to move on. Okay. So you're getting close to that point.
I am.
How do you feel about that? I mean, 9 years, that's a long time.
I feel like I definitely have helped a lot of younger kids be like, hey, you guys should keep up with all of this hard work that you are putting in. I feel like I definitely left my mark on Pueblo County 4-H.
And when you say your mark, what would that mark be? What is it? When you look back at all those years, I mean, what really comes to your mind that you really did really, really well?
Probably my leadership skills, because not only am I doing all of my shooting and livestock, I'm also a team leader for shooting sports.
Okay.
So I'm helping out the younger kids with everything that I possibly can while they're on the line shooting.
So you're really kind of a mentor, you're an advocate, you're really kind of, and the leadership skills are things that you'll be able to take throughout your whole life.
Yes, sir.
And that's really, really important. You mentioned shooting, and this was something I saw when we were writing the article. And talk a little bit about shooting sports. That's pretty fascinating.
I competed in 22 rifle for a couple years.
Wow.
And then I was like, okay, I looked at my mom one day and I said, I want to try something new. I want to challenge myself, give myself a challenge. So I took on recurve and compound archery. Last year was my first year.
Right.
I ended up taking 3rd in the county and making state team with my recurve.
Wow. Had you done this before, or was it you wanted the challenge?
Yes, sir.
So what was it like? I mean, when you say challenge, and what did your mom say when you first said, you're going to go in this direction?
She kind of just looked at me and she's like, are you sure you want to do this? And I
Right.
said, yes, ma'am, I'm 100% sure. So we ended up getting a couple bows and we went with it. Showed up to our first couple practices and I wasn't too sure about it. And then I really it attached to me, and I love it so much.
Now, is there I know in the Olympics, there's different types of shooting, events. Are any of these kind of similar to those? I mean, can you get your start in 4-H and then make your way up if you're a true champion?
I mean, I'm sure if you do good enough, I'm sure you could get that far. We have a gentleman he made national team, and I could see him going very far with shooting. Really?
Okay. How many? So let me ask you about shooting. I mean, how many? Is it predominantly men or women, boys, girls? I mean, is it split? How many would you say, say, for example, in Pueblo County?
So I would say it's kind of split. Mostly right now, it's kind of male dominated, I would have to say.
Okay.
I know our shotgun entire team is all males this year.
Wow.
So I know that as a team leader,
right,
I am trying to get a lot more females into shooting sports.
Okay, and do you find that difficult? I mean, do you think there's a reason? I mean, we can kind of have in our brain, kind of preconceived notions of why there's more men versus women, but we were all gatherers and hunters at one time. I mean, do you think what is hard about trying to sell that to younger people? You had a good time.
Right. I believe that a lot of young ladies, they kind of just look at us and they're like, no, that's kind of a male type thing to do.
Okay.
And it's really not. I mean, we all can do it. We're all capable of the same stuff.
Right. Well, and stereotypes are sometimes really hard to fight
sir.
because, especially if you're trying to do it at this level, because it's not just the girls that you're trying to convince, you also have to convince the girls' parents
Right.
that they should be doing it. So you're dealing with like one layer and then 2 layers of 3 layers. So, but you had a great time. So that makes it easier, I think, if you're going to be a representative and share that. So you're going to be graduating pretty soon. What are you going to do with your 4-H experience once you graduate?
So
Since they age you out, you know.
Right. I have already started looking at colleges.
Okay.
And for all of my 4-H and FFA experience, I'm putting that towards my future. I want to become an agricultural education teacher with an
Fantastic.
emphasis of special education.
Great. And I mean, it doesn't matter where you go, not just in Pueblo, but it
Right.
seems like not just in the United States, but worldwide, we need so many more teachers. And the 4-H program, that was one of the reasons why we wrote this article in the current Star Journal, is to really tell the origin story, because if you know the 4-H story, you know, in the early 1900s, there was a fear that with all the new technology and the new innovation, that most of the farmers were older and it was going to be harder to get them to get used to new innovations. So they thought, you know what, we need to start educating younger people. And because younger people are more, they like change, they like innovation, they like new technology, and that's pretty much true today. So, I mean, the origin story is fascinating, because we could have lost a lot of, you know, our traditional, you know, agricultural practices, but we've been able to kind of improve them little by little with introducing technology. So that's great. The only other program that I can compare, I mean, I didn't do 4-H because I always thought I had to have an animal, but I did DECA. And I know DECA is kind of, you know, if you look at all the different high school experiences, I think DECA is only in high school. I don't think you can do it earlier than that.
I think it is only in high school.
In high school. But when does 4-H actually start? I mean, when can you actually start 4-H?
I believe you can start 4-H when you're 8 years old.
8 years old. Okay. So that's when they age you in, and then 18, they age you
Yep.
out.
Yes, sir.
So you started, well, you were pretty close to that then.
Yes, sir.
And were your parents in 4-H?
No, me and my brother were the first ones
Okay.
in 4-H.
And how did your, do you live in a rural area, or was there a connection to
A little bit.
farming? Okay.
I live all the way out in the county.
Okay, so you're in the county. So there, you kind of understand the culture, the community,
Yes, sir.
and you have friends and stuff that actually, you know. How would you help your friend here next to you who's homeschooled? What would you recommend to try to get more homeschoolers? Have you worked with any homeschoolers?
I have not.
You have. This is interesting. So maybe this is an area we really need to focus on, and we'll help you out here to try to recruit some more homeschoolers. So you haven't either.
No, sir.
Okay, and Jessica, have you? So really, you're like our shining example right here. We need to see if we can get some more homeschoolers. Do any of you have questions of each other? I'm curious. You're coming into this as a homeschooler, and also kind of you're a pioneer. You're treading some new waters here, and here you have some older 4-Hers. Do you have any questions of your older 4-H peers here, your colleagues?
No, not really.
No questions just yet? Well, you're so new to the game too. So, but let me ask you, what would you recommend as far, do you have any ideas for how to recruit some homeschoolers to really be part of 4-H?
Real quick, back on that topic.
Yeah.
I have worked with some homeschool.
Okay, so you
kids.
have some experience.
A little bit.
A little
yeah.
bit, okay.
Our president of my specific club, I'm in Pups and Hounds. Our president, I'm the president now, but
Okay.
The president who was the president last year, he is homeschooled, and so he's been really good. He is very good.
So there are some
program.
people in leadership that could really help out.
Oh, absolutely,
With that.
yeah.
Okay. Because, you know, I don't remember seeing in any of the brochures, I don't think I was even looking for it, but that's something we should look at, because to be honest with you, I mean, the other question I was having, there's all the online academies.
Oh,
so
yeah.
like there's Goal Academy, you know, are they available? I mean, can they do 4-H too?
I think that they definitely could.
I'm
if
asking
they
some
wanted
difficult
to.
questions here. Well, I mean, I'm just thinking if you're online, or if you're homeschooled, or if you're going to a traditional school and you like what 4-H has to offer, you know, it shouldn't be a difficult, you know, transition to do it, because, I mean, we've got so many, I mean, you've got Boys and Girls Clubs, you've got DECA, you've got 4-H. I mean, what are some of the other things? If you're a young person, what are some of the other outlets? You know, where would you find people that you would be interested in hanging out with? I mean, I'm just asking you more broader question, just in terms of your your high school, for example, experience?
I mean, yes, we have DECA, and I think that it is a good kind of introduction to what 4-H could offer you
Right.
if you were to take a bigger step forward.
Right.
And I think that Boys and Girls Club and all of those other small clubs within the community,
Right.
they would definitely be able to recommend 4-H because it offers what they offer, but I think it's
Right.
even a bigger step than what
Right.
they have to offer.
Right. And we were actually, when I was meeting over at the CSU Extension office, I guess in the fall, I think it's October, is National 4-H. There's a big awareness campaign or something like that. And we were talking about, who are some of the famous 4-Hers in history? And there's some really famous people that were in 4-H. Do you know any of the? I said, well, Dolly Parton. We were talking about Dolly Parton, and I said, I have someone who knows Dolly Parton. Maybe we get Dolly Parton to do like a little video saying how important 4-H was. There's a lot though. Do you know of any famous 4-Hers? I mean, are you like a super fan or anything like that?
I didn't even think that I'm educated enough to know how
Right.
the many.
Well, you're
famous
so busy
people
with
that-
your
but,
goats and with your dogs and
Yeah.
cake decorating. You don't have time to worry about all that other stuff.
But I mean, I can't really think of any
Right.
off the top of my head, but I'm sure that there are because 4-H is such a worldwide kind of sort of huge thing.
Right, and this is fascinating too because I didn't realize that 4 of your 4-Hers actually went to Italy. And we're going to be
yes.
doing a special podcast called the Italy Edition. And we've asked Mariana Gatto. She actually is the executive director of the Italian American Museum in Los Angeles. But her grandparents' house, they've since passed, but she bought her grandparents' house on Goat Hill. So she comes back and forth. So she's agreed to do the podcast as a special guest host. But like you were just saying, it's an international movement. And I was thinking, my gosh, they went all the way to Italy just to talk about and learn about, and experience, the 4-H experience, because there's agriculture everywhere.
Right.
And again, we can't limit it just to agriculture because there's a lot of other classes too.
Absolutely.
So I guess we're going to take a break now, and we'll be back just after our message.
Homeownership is possible with a trusted partner.
It brings us a lot of joy to be able to say that this house is our own and that we've poured our hearts into making it our own.
Alyssa and Ryan are among the more than 155,000 people Chafa has helped become homeowners since 1974. It starts with homebuyer education and connecting you with a statewide network of participating lenders. Get started at chfainfo.com/yourhome. Chafa is an equal housing lender.
Welcome back to the Voices of Pueblo podcast. I'm Gregory Howell, and I'm here with round 2. We've got 3 additional 4-H students, and we're going to first start off with introductions, and then we'll get into the questions. So,
I'm Shania McKissick. I'm from Liberty Point International.
Hi, I'm Lillian Tate, and I go to Vineland Middle.
I'm Lacie Laca, and I just graduated from Rye High School.
okay, so you're the first one that we were talking earlier that's already graduated. So I think that's the perfect kind of entree into this question. So first, let's find out, when did you actually start 4-H? Because now that you've just finished it, we know that they kind of age you out. So when did you start?
So I've been around 4-H my whole life because both my parents were raised in it. And so then when I was younger, my dad was on the fair board in the San Luis Valley. And so I was at fair for my entire life. But then I started as soon as I could. So I started at 8.
So coming from, literally, your family is 4-H.
Yes.
So talk about that just as a young person. I guess when you're 8, you can formally kind of age into the program. But even before that, when you think about 4-H, it sounds like you were taken to the county fair, you were out at all the auctions, you were out on, all these different places. What was that like? And what did you think about that? Was that something you really wanted to do, or were you thinking, no, I don't want to have anything to do with this?
For me, I guess I didn't really understand what it was. It was just my life. Like, that was kind of how I grew up. But when I look back on all my memories, my best younger childhood memories were spent at the county fair. I grew up in the San Luis Valley before we moved here. And getting to show in like the Pee-wee showmanship where the public can go show animals. It was really cool because those people are now like my biggest mentors. So the one girl that I used to show her pig at the county fair, I started buying steers from her family. So it was kind of a full circle moment of when I was just 3, I got to show her pig, and now she's providing me animals to show on my own now that I'm old enough.
So you said something which is new. You said Pee-wee?
Pee-wee showmanship.
So what's Pee-wee? I mean, I'm thinking Pee-wee Herman, but I mean, so Pee-wee, talk about that. That's the first time I've heard that in this discussion.
Yeah, so at our county fair, it's on the Friday of our county fair, and it's an opportunity for younger kids who aren't in 4-H to come.
So is this earlier than 8? So these
Yes.
are like, so when,
Earlier than
so
8.
when, can you be 3 or 4 and start as a Pee-wee?
You can be young, and you come and you sign up to show in Pee-wee showmanship, and you can show a lamb, a goat, or a pig, and they provide you with an animal, one of the 4-H'ers animals, and the 4-H'ers go through the ring with you, and you get to have your little experience showing in the show ring.
So this is like it's like a trial. It's like a test to see if you might even like this. And it didn't sound like you had much of a choice because you were born into a 4-H family. Now you said that your parents were heavily involved. What animals were? I mean, you were saying you were from the San Luis Valley first before you came. So what were the animals in your early years?
Well, we're farmers and ranchers, and so my whole life we have raised cattle.
Okay.
And so the steers were a big part of who I am. There's videos of me being like 6 years old pulling a steer around the show ring. And so the steers, obviously, and then we raise meat for butcher, and so we always have had some pigs. So I've shown pigs, and then I dipped my toes in the water with a lamb one year. My mom showed lambs when she was growing up, but she hated them.
Why did your mom not like lambs?
I think she just liked being a steer kid. And
okay. That's a big difference between a steer and a lamb.
Yeah, you can't really deal with a lamb the same way you can a steer, and so she was more of a steer kid, and so I wanted to try lambs, and it was just too much for me because I was doing too many projects, and the lamb was just the one that I couldn't fully dedicate my time to.
Right.
But yeah.
So how did it feel when you were 8 then? I guess, did you age in when you were 8? Did it really happen at that early?
Yeah, when it was 8, it was really exciting because it was finally my turn. I'd watched my older brother show and obviously everyone else I knew show.
Right.
And so I was really excited for it to finally be my turn and to have my own animal.
And what was that first animal that you had when you started?
I had 1 steer and I had 2 pigs.
So 1 steer and 2 pigs. So what is that like as an 8-year-old? You've got 1 steer and 2 pigs.
It was a lot of work,
I was gonna say.
especially because at the time we were showing ranch calves off of our own ranch, so halter breaking them was a little bit harder because they didn't really have the genetics to be calm, and so we had to spend a lot of time with them and a lot of early mornings. But my steer had a lot longer of a stride than me, so it stepped on me a lot, which taught me to be really tough. And I'm thankful for that. And then my pigs were just kind of my fun project. I'd always shown them in Pee-wee showmanship and had a blast with them.
But those pigs aren't just little pigs. I mean, I'm amazed. When I went to the county fair and they started to come in, they were huge.
Yeah.
I mean, how many pounds? I mean, some of those pigs.
My pig this year, right now, when I weighed it last week, it's about 275.
My God, 270. Now, what does that mean in terms of feeding and food? And I mean, what does that entail?
They get a lot of feed. I'm not 100% sure how many pounds we feed them a day, but my pigs gain about 10 pounds a week.
Oh my gosh. And then what? So, I mean, when you start just adding that up, how long does it take? Like, is this a year project or is this a 2-year? Because do you have to go out and find a bank to buy your pig? I mean, do you have to do that too?
Yeah. So for the pigs, we got our pigs in March, and then we obviously sell them around August or September-ish. And then
so it's a few months there then. That happens really quickly.
And then with the steers, you usually get them around September, October. And then because I show at State Fair, then it goes until August.
Okay, so because county is first and then the State Fair is shortly
after. So the steers are about 1.5 years old when they go to sale.
Okay.
And the pigs are about 6 months.
6 months, okay.
Yeah.
So, and then we talked about this earlier, but when you do the auction and someone buys it, sometimes I'm sure they keep the meat, but it sounds like you don't have to keep the meat and the meat can go. Where are some of the places that the meat, are there other buyers, secondary buyers how does that happen?
Right. So the buyer that buys your animal has the option whether they want to take it or not. If they don't take it, there's about 2 options you can take. Our county fair has a rule where if you signed up prior, that if your buyer doesn't want the animal, then you can take it home with you.
Oh, really? So you had that lucky fortune?
So we've taken it home before and then butchered it ourselves and then sold it to other customers because, like I said, we have a custom meat business. But then also you can put it on the truck, so it just goes to a packing plant and gets taken to go to grocery stores. And that kind of stuff.
Right. So I have a lot of experience with butchering and the history of meat packing. One of the projects I worked on here was it's Water Tower Place now, but the old Knuckles Packing Company. It's a fascinating story, but I was in Argentina and in Brazil, and I learned how to butcher because that is a culture there, both where cattle, steer are a big deal. What was that like? I mean, when you finally, first of all, you've been raising this animal for several months. Well, actually longer if it's the steer, or it could be the pigs. But, you grow attached to them. They become kind of like your own little kids, after a while. And then all of a sudden, is it a good thing to get it back, or is it better that it just goes and you get the proceeds from that? That's a really hard thing as a young person. You raise it and then you have to make that really hard decision to butcher it. But then again, that's just the way life is, in terms of how that whole process works.
Right. For me, being raised in agriculture, it wasn't always hard because I went into it with the understanding that these are butcher animals and that this is where our food comes from, and we have an important role in producing food for the world. And so that was a little bit different for me. But personally, I think it's really cool when the buyers get to eat our own meat, but I can make more money if I take it home and sell it.
I was going to say that you could probably make more.
When it comes to my college fund, I really like when it comes back to me, but I also really appreciate when the buyers want to eat it themselves because I think it's really cool to know where your food's coming from instead of just buying it from the grocery store.
So I think, like you said earlier, you basically, as soon as you opened your eyes as a young kid, you just saw 4-H everywhere.
Yes.
That you kind of have lived that kind of 4-H, kind of that agricultural lifestyle. So a lot of those systems and processes are kind of built in just to your early childhood. Are there others that may not have that might have trouble? Because, I never lived on a farm or anything like that. My grandparents had a farm and I used to go back and visit, but it was more just agriculture in terms of crops, that not many animals. And I think I would have a really hard time, like with my dogs and stuff like that. That would just be heartbreaking. How do some people deal? It sounds like that's not been a problem for you, but I would imagine since you're going out, they're going to age you out at 18.
Right.
Have you seen that where that has been a problem where a young person gets so attached and then all of a sudden it's so traumatic that they have to let go?
Yeah, definitely. You walk through the barn after the sale and there's lots of kids crying, hugging their animals, and it really is heartbreaking.
God, that would be heartbreaking.
Yeah, and it's hard to watch, but I think it's also so important to teach us that lesson. And I think it's somewhat better to learn it early than later on in life. And I think even for me, who's not super sad when I get rid of my animals, I still am sad. Like, I love the steer I had my very first year when I was 8, and I remember him. But I also know that, there's something new to work forward to. And I also think it's cool because each year I get better and better. And so I know I'm selling this steer, but better's coming.
Yeah.
And so that's what
And on that note of teaching, I think we talked about this earlier before we started the podcast. But tell us a little bit about where you're going to go. How are you taking your 4-H experience to the next level?
Yeah, I'm going to attend West Texas A&M University in the fall to study agricultural education. In 4-H, I obviously have had a huge impact by agriculture, and it was kind of a part of who I am, but I'm not really a fan of the early mornings feeding steers and the late night pulling calves in the middle of the night. That wasn't really my thing. So I was like, okay, once 4-H is over, I'm done with agriculture. This isn't for me. And then I started to realize how good I felt after I mentored younger kids, the little pep talks before the show of you got to be confident, it shows how you are in the ring and that kind of stuff. Being a camp counselor at 4-H camps, that kind of stuff, it really showed me how much I like mentoring and teaching. And so I figured that was my way to give back in a community which I hold so close to my heart.
So what are you going to be focusing on then? It sounds like this is the perfect kind of transition for you, and thank you for wanting to be a mentor, a teacher, because we need that so badly. But and the fact that you've realized that yourself, that you like helping out younger people and mentoring them in difficult situations. But what's the course or the program like where you're going to be going?
So it's a 4-year program, and I'll have a half a semester of student teaching, just like it's basically like a regular education, except
Right.
for it's specialized in agriculture. And then once I graduate, my plans are to come back to Colorado and be a FFA advisor and ag teacher here to help kids find their place in the industry, because I think it's also really misguided too that, like, even though while we're talking about how 4-H isn't just about the cows and stuff, agriculture isn't just about that. I mean, if
Right,
you want to be
of
a
course.
lawyer, there's ag lawyers, there's
That's
ag
right,
policy
that's right.
makers, we need pharmacists and
Right.
that kind of stuff. And so I think it's, I really want to help students find their place in the industry, because it really is an important industry.
So would that be, so you said you want to come back from Texas and return to Colorado. So will you go into like a high school environment? I mean, is that what you're thinking about as far as teaching?
Yeah, I'll be a high school teacher. I'll teach basically like the shop classes at a school, and then an FFA advisor, which takes them to all the different FFA speaking events and those kind of stuff.
Wow. And so that was just, that's kind of like the perfect, I mean, if you were going, to reach to the 4-H mountaintop, I mean, it sounds
Right.
like that would be the place to go.
Right.
So, and I'm sure your parents have got to be so happy.
I hope so.
And then I noticed your buckle. Is there a story behind that buckle that you're wearing? I mean, that is like the biggest buckle. You have to be careful wearing that, because if you hit it the wrong way, tell me about that buckle.
Yeah, so, well, I have a couple belt buckles, but this one I wear the most because I'm the most proud of it. Because for me, this year, the year that I won the buckle was 2021, and I
Right.
had the Reserve Grand Champion steer that year.
Wow.
And so, and then I was also Grand Champion Showman, and I won round robin, and we have these livestock tests you take for your
Right.
knowledge.
Sure.
And I had gotten a perfect score on that test, so it was like all of those combined. So I think it just, for me, it really showcases that the work you do isn't unnoticed. Like the time that you take to study for that test, it's not just to pass the test so that you
Right.
can show the animal. It's also for more than that. And so that's what.
And it's nice and shiny and beautiful, and I mean, and it's got turquoise on it and everything. So,
Yeah.
well, it's nice that, I mean, you're proud of it, and
Yeah.
now that we know why you have it, I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
So, do people want to steal that from you? I mean, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, well, let's move on, and again, just reintroduce yourself, and let's learn a little bit more about you and your 4-H experience.
I'm Lily.
Yep. And tell us about where you are in the whole arc. Where are you in the 4-H?
Okay, so I show horses, goats, and dogs.
Okay. And what grade are you again?
6.
So 6th grade. So you're kind of you're kind of past the beginning.
Yeah.
But so how many years has it been since you've been in 4-H?
So I started when I was 5. So I was.
Wow. So you were like a peewee? Were you one of those little peewee showers?
So I was a clover bud.
Clover bud.
Yeah, so
What's a
you-
clover bud?
So you pick a project that like you want to do, and I picked roping, and you make a board about
Okay.
roping or your project, and then you tell a judge about it.
Right.
And they don't really place you because you're not old enough to show.
Right.
But you'll get a ribbon.
It sounds like the science fair projects. You have to do the research and you put up the presentation, and then the judge comes by and you have to explain the whole thing. How did you like doing that the very first time?
It was very nerve-wracking being a little 5-year-old talking to a judge.
Right.
But
And why roping? I mean, were you roping already at
so-
age 5?
no, my mom's cousin, he ropes, and I would go watch him a lot. So
Okay.
I really wanted to learn more about roping.
And is he a good cousin? I mean, is he the cousin you like to go see? And
Yeah.
that helps a lot, because I have some cousins I don't want to talk to, but that helps a lot. And what is it about roping that you found so fascinating?
I don't know. It's just I love horses,
Right.
and I don't know. I just liked roping.
Do you rope? I mean, have you roped since then? I mean, you've tried it?
I've tried it, but it's kind of hard to figure out.
It's really hard. I mean, I go to the state fair and I watch them come out of those gates, and it's just amazing. I mean, literally, because there's so many things happening at one time, and then you've got to just get that. Now, the rope is kind of harder than just a loose rope, right? I
Yeah.
mean, it sounds like, because I've seen, kind of those roping, ropes. They're a little bit
it's
tighter.
more rough.
Exactly. Okay. So that was 5. So what happened after that before you even, because again, you have to wait until you're 8 to officially become 4-H member.
So after that, I started going to my other cousin's county fairs and watching her show her goat and stuff. And that's when I really was like, I want to show goats.
So goats. So goats were kind of your go-to animal in the beginning. Now, where do you live in? Are you a more rural person? I mean, do you live on a farm or a ranch? Okay, so that would be kind of natural then.
Yeah.
And were your parents in 4-H before you were?
No, but my dad had a dairy farm.
Well, that helps, yeah. And so tell us a little bit more about your first goat experience. How was that at the very beginning?
So it was very hard because the goats they weigh a lot more than you. And
you don't weigh very much either. And how tall are you? Because you're smaller, so those animals can be really difficult sometimes.
So they have to weigh a certain amount. So my goat, my first year, was like 65 pounds. So it was a lot more than me, and they have a lot more muscle.
Yeah.
So they're a lot stronger.
And they probably know it too.
Yeah, they do. Yep. But it was fun. It was very hard to load it onto the trailer, knowing where it's going.
Mm-hmm.
But it gets easier every year.
Right. So when you had that first experience, it sounds like that was really a challenge. I mean, what were some of the best things that you learned? What were some of the best kind of experiences that you took away from that, first, time with a goat?
Probably just not to give up, because they're gonna try and get the best of you, but you just have to be the bigger person.
And how do you do that? I mean, it's a goat. How do you tell a goat that you're in charge?
I don't really know how to explain it, but you just have to not give up. You have to go.
Right.
You have to be like, I might not win, but I just can't let the goat push me around.
Right. And because that's not a good goat if that goat's pushing you around.
So you just kind of work harder.
Right. And so how long did you do the goats? Are you still doing goats?
Still doing goats.
So you like the goats then?
Yeah.
So, and was that first goat, do you still have that first goat, or did that goat go off into that special place?
He went to the special place.
Okay. Now, did you get to do the same thing where you have to go out and find a bank, or what was that like for you? Did you like doing that?
Well, I had experience from our saddle club. We had to go talk to sponsors.
So what's a saddle club?
So it's like an organization that's for horses. We do all different stuff, barrel racing, and working cattle and stuff.
And how old were you when you signed up for the saddle club?
I think I was 8 or 9.
Wow. So I mean and how many people are in the saddle club that are the same age?
Not very many.
Really? Are you kind of one of those rare youngins that wants to get into with the adults?
Yeah, there was 6 young kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I bet you might be friends with some of them still to this day?
Yeah, a lot of them do 4-H with me.
Okay. So is the saddle club kind of like a 4-H training ground? Is it like an extension of 4-H
not really.
Not really? It's just another experience that you can share? Okay. So, and what is it what do you like the most about saddle club?
I don't know, just being with your horse and your friends.
Okay. That's great. Now, do you show? Are there competitions with the saddle club?
So for the saddle club, they have shows, and then you go into age groups.
Okay.
So you'll show it. You could pick your classes that you want to show in.
And so I would need that classes. You mean style of riding?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? So what is your favorite style of riding?
Ranch.
Ranch. Okay. Yeah, I've seen dressage. I've seen ranch. There's all kinds.
Yeah.
So you like the ranch. Why do you like the ranch style?
I like working cattle.
Okay.
That's my favorite.
Right. So now where are you? So what, looking ahead this coming year, what do you see yourself doing with 4-H? You're going to still have the goats, I guess.
Yeah. And I think in 2 years, I want to start trying to show pigs.
Now, have you shown pigs before?
Not really.
So why pigs? Why pigs all of a sudden? You've been doing goats the whole time. Why do you want to do pigs now?
I just really like pigs.
Okay.
And I like the way you show them.
Right.
Yeah.
What is it about pigs, though? I mean,
I don't know.
Is there something special about, do you like the profits that come after the auction? Or, will you be doing the pigs and the goats at the same time?
Yeah.
So you're really going to level it up here before you have to get aged out.
Yeah.
So you're going to do the pigs. So what else, other than the animals, what other parts of 4-H are you really having a good time with?
the friends.
Okay.
And all the experiences.
Okay. Are you taking like photography? Are you taking cake decorating? Are you doing any of those?
So I did photography last year.
Okay. And how was that? How was photography?
It was harder because I had never worked with a camera.
Okay.
And
were you using a real camera or using a smartphone?
Real camera.
A real camera. And what kind of camera were you using?
I don't know.
No, were they digital or were they 35 millimeter? Do you know which type? Did you have to develop them yourself or were they digital?
They were digital.
Okay, they were digital. Yeah. Okay, that makes it a little bit easier. Yeah. So it really wasn't something that you want to continue with, or it was just difficult.
It was just to try it to see how I liked it.
Okay.
It was fun to go and take the pictures, but
right.
it was just hard because with all the animals,
right.
It was so much different than the animals.
Well, yeah, photography is a little bit different. I mean, animals demand a lot of attention, and you have to. I mean, it's not like you can just forget them for a day or two. Yeah. You got to keep on. I mean, I'm so impressed when I see what you do with your animals. I mean, that's something I don't think. I mean, other than having a dog or a cat or something like that, but you know what you do with the animals, and then the whole process of working towards the auction. You know, going out and finding a bank, you know, and deciding whether you're going to keep it or butcher it. Or I mean, there's so many really important questions. So what? How do you see the future? You know, with 4-H. I mean, it sounds like because you started really, really young.
Yeah.
You don't know much else other than 4-H.
Yeah. So I've had animals and I want to be a zoologist.
A zoologist, fantastic. Why? What is so interesting about being a zoologist? Why would you like that career?
I want to work with more exotic animals.
Okay. So do you want to work at a zoo or a research institute or something like that?
I either want to work at Disney World because they have a lot of cool animals.
That's right.
Or just travel and work.
Because I know my sister and my niece went to San Diego State University, and they have a connection with SeaWorld, with the Wild Animal Park. And so there's a lot of people that study in those fields, and they go immediately into, it's kind of like what you were saying, the entertainment, you know, the showcasing of these exotic animals. So, well, that's fantastic. Well, and you have a few more years though, too.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about that right now, but you got to keep with your goats and also with your pigs. So
yeah.
I wish you luck on that. So, well, let's move on to our 6 students. So again, refresh our memory on your name and where you are, and then we'll ask some questions about your 4-H experience.
I'm Shania, and this is my 6th year 4-H.
6 years. So how old were you when you started? Were you at 8 years old when you started?
I was 8.
So you aged in right when you could?
Yeah.
Is there a family tradition for you, or are you?
Yes, my uncle and my mom and my grandfather have all been doing 4-H.
Wow, so your grandfather was probably, you know, in those early generations.
Yeah.
What has he told you stories, or
yeah.
was he heavily involved with certain animals? What did you learn from your grandfather?
I learned how to show swine, like pigs and stuff.
Okay.
And I learned how to do many other projects.
So you use swine, and we've got pigs. I mean, I know there's similarities and differences, but you're the first person to use the word swine. Is there a difference when we talk about swine, or is that the same that we would be saying for pigs?
It's the same. It's just like a scientific.
Right. No. I know the word. I'm just curious because the first time, like when I heard Pee-wee and when I heard, what was the name of that little club that you started? Cloverbud. Yeah, Cloverbud. As soon as I hear these new terms, I want to know what's the meaning. What does that start? But that's impressive, though, that your grandfather, and what else did you learn from your grandfather? That's wonderful that he kind of really has that passion. And because I assume he grew up in a rural environment.
Yeah. He lives on a farm.
Okay.
So I get to go see all the goats, cattle.
Right.
And chickens.
So he's
and
still
stuff.
living and breathing like
Yeah.
the 4-H. Does he wear the 4-H clover and everything?
Yeah, he works for him.
Oh, so he's okay. So he's serious then.
Yeah, he
serious 4-H.
helps with 4-H.
Okay, that's great. And we need that, you know, and that's beautiful too, because there you've got intergenerational, you've got multi-generational. And how do you like learning from your grandpa?
I like learning from it, so I have experience before I try something new.
Okay. And he's probably really good about teaching too. I mean, getting you into a safe situation or learning about something new, because he's probably seen it all before.
Yeah.
And then do you have any brothers or sisters?
I have one brother and one sister.
And are they involved in 4-H?
Yeah, my brother's currently in 4-H and my sister aged out.
Oh, she aged. That aging out. We got to change that name. Aging out sounds really not. It doesn't sound really good. It's like, okay, you're done. Get out of here. So, so tell us a little bit more about what you're doing now and what you plan to do next year.
So right now I'm doing ceramics, woodworking, photography. I used to do cake decorating.
Right.
But like I couldn't this year because I was doing so many.
Right.
And I'm also doing market pigs.
So so you said a lot of things that don't involve any animals. So is that unusual, or do you try to do that every year? Do you try to kind of mix it up with other types of studies?
I try to do mostly different than animals because I've worked with animals almost my whole life.
There you
but
go.
I try to do one animal per year.
And so so what are the animals that you've done so far? I mean, and you want to do you shake it up, or do you do the same ones?
No, I've always done the same one.
And so what is your plan now?
My plan is I'm gonna try something new. I want to try to do cows.
Okay, cows. And so why do you want to try cows now?
I want to try cows because I've heard so many stories about them.
Good stories, bad stories, challenging stories?
Good stories, challenging, some bad.
And what has your grandfather told you? I'm sure you've asked your grandpa. I'm thinking about doing cows. What has he told you about cows?
My grandpa has always done cows with my uncles.
Okay.
And he says they're good, but they're also sometimes bad.
Well, that's kind of life in general, don't you think? It's kind of, you just got to make it work. So you're going to do the cows, and then what else are you? So it sounds like I like your mix, though.
Yeah.
You said ceramics, and I love ceramics. So tell me about your experience with ceramics.
I've always loved doing ceramics because I've always loved painting and doing crafts.
Okay, so arts are really an important part of kind of just who you are.
Yeah.
Because you're very stylish too. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anyone with so many necklaces and those wrist. I mean, how many do you have on right now? They're amazing.
Have 60 bracelets.
60. Now, is there a meaning behind 60, or is that just?
No, some of them are matching with my friends, and some I just found online and I got inspiration.
So now, do you take them off, or I mean, that's a lot of work. You've got those on.
Yeah, I take them off every night before I go to bed, and I put them on every morning.
So do you have a special stand for them all? Do they, or where do you? I mean, you got to keep those organized.
Yeah, I have like a little stand in my bed.
Okay. I just never. I love your gloves. I mean, you've just got it all. So you're very stylish. So I can see when you said ceramics and arts, it sounds like you're very creative that way in terms of expressing yourself. So what have you done ceramic wise? What have you made? Are you more about form or function, sculptural? You know, what type of things do you like to create?
I mostly like to make animals. I've always done animals. But
and when you say animals, what are we talking about here? Are we talking giraffes or elephants? Or are we talking cows, swine? You know, the ones that you usually are working with.
I've done a fox, a deer, a bunny, an owl, a snake, another snake, and more.
Okay, and are these large or small? I mean, what are the size of these ceramic?
Some are very large.
And when you say very large, what does that mean?
I mean, not like too large, but
like a foot, a foot long. Okay. Yeah. And are you doing traditional? Are you doing these? Are they fired with glazes and things of that sort?
I get them pre-made, so I don't have to do them, but they're like greenware, right? And then
are the forms already done?
Yeah.
So you order a snake, and the snake arrives, and then you paint the snake.
I go to Canyon City. There's a store up there. It's called Hobby Hut.
Yes, I know of that place. Yeah.
I get all my work.
It's dangerous. You have to be careful when you go in there.
Yeah.
So you like to just really you're about creating the look and the feel and the style, like the colors and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like you've had pretty good luck with that because it's something you enjoy doing.
Yeah.
And where do you show these ceramic animals?
I just show them at County Fair.
Okay.
And sometimes they go to state, and yeah.
So have you gotten any awards for some of your ceramic animals?
I've got third place on my ceramic on my first year, all of state.
Wow. And then what animal was that the first year?
My fox.
Your fox. What was it about that fox that was so impressive?
I would say its color, because it was like a very pretty autumn brown.
Okay.
And the judges really liked the color, and they were just complimenting it all the time.
Was it like a happy fox? I mean, was there something?
It was a sitting fox with like a neutral expression.
Okay, and I know some stories. Sitting foxes, you can go back thousands of years studying ancient cultures where seated foxes are very, very auspicious. They have a lot of power and energy. Yeah. So, That's fantastic. So now talk about where you see yourself going with 4-H. I mean, it sounds like you really have, I mean, you've got this great mentor, your grandfather, who sounds like he's just been wonderful, you know, in terms of encouraging you, showing you and telling you, you know, the good, the bad, and the ugly with certain things. Who else do you look to? Do you look to your peers? Do you have other people that you look to help you out and to learn more?
I look to my uncles because they've done 4-H since 8 and they've aged out as well. And my uncle is also like the FFA at county.
So he has a real title then too. Okay. So you're kind of royalty, 4-H royalty over here.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about where you see yourself going in the future.
I see myself becoming a vet because I've always liked animals and I've always liked taking care of them.
Okay. That's interesting because that was, you know, you said it and I was thinking about this the other day. I was thinking how many want to go into veterinary science, which is difficult, although CSU Fort Collins has got one of the world's greatest programs. And I don't know if you've been up to the new Spur campus, but they've got that beautiful room where they have amphitheater seating and you can actually watch, you know, vets operating like on a horse or something. Yeah. It's fascinating. Why a vet? I mean, you said that you kind of like to help out with, what is it about a vet? I mean, do you like math and science and all that other stuff too?
No, I don't like math.
Okay.
But like, I've always seen myself.
You talk to your grandfather about that, the math and science.
I've always seen myself taking care of animals and having a special connection with them.
Okay. Now, I mean, I think being a vet is great. Are there other careers where you could do similar things where you can care for, you know, animals?
I was thinking about like being just like a doctor in general.
Okay. Like a regular medical doctor in general, like a general practitioner or something like that?
Yeah,
okay.
I've always wanted to like work in the medical degree.
Okay, well that's fantastic. You're gonna have to work on your math and sadly, those math and science. I mean, that's why I didn't do it. I would love to be a doctor. Yeah. But when I saw how all of those math classes and science and chemistry, and I think it's really up to the well, you got to talk to your grandpa. Your grandpa may have some magical things to say to you about that. Plus your royalties, so you never know. It's going to help you out with those degrees. Now, you guys are all, you're going to be aging out. You're still in. Do you have anything to say to your younger 4-Hers, just in terms of, you know, how to really kind of move forward over the next few years?
I would say just do what makes you uncomfortable, because my greatest moments of my 4-H career came from the things that made me the most uncomfortable. I qualified for nationals in impromptu speaking because my mom signed me up, and I cried to her at our county contest and said, I'm not doing this. I cannot get up there and speak about a topic I don't even know about. Like, this is terrifying. I'm not doing it. Somehow I won county. Then I went to state and won state, and I was so uncomfortable doing what I did, but I'm so grateful for the skills I learned through it. So if it makes you uncomfortable, do it.
That's really, really good advice. I mean, now I can see why. I mean, clearly you've kind of, from your earliest, when you first opened your eyes, you were seeing, 4-H, and now knowing you a little bit better and seeing what you've experienced, where you're going to be going, the fact that you want to come back and you want to teach a mentor. Those are the skill sets right there. That's what leadership really does. I think that's a shining example of what 4-H can really do for a young person, especially when you're trying to build character, you're trying to build, the most uncomfortable things are the ones that you're going to learn the most.
Right.
And kudos to your mom for making you do that. You probably hated her.
I hated her at the moment, but now I thank her a whole lot for it.
And so how would you encourage someone younger? Now you're going to try something you're not too comfortable with. You want to try those cows. Pigs, excuse me. There's just so many animals here. It's like being in a zoo with the pigs. So is that something about being uncomfortable that you... Well, that's great advice. I remember you were saying, I'm not too sure about these pigs, but I'm going to try them.
Yeah, so I love walking them, and it's nerve-wracking to walk them because they're way different than goats. Like, they don't have a halter. You can't control really where they're going. So if they start running, they kind of just start running.
Yeah, I saw them at the county fair. And someone has a little stick.
Yeah.
I saw. What do you call that stick?
I think they call it a whip.
A whip. A whip sounds really mean. Yeah. But you have to use it because otherwise they have minds of their own.
Yeah. They
know where they are. They know what's going on.
Yeah.
I don't think they know all of it in great detail. But when you decided that you wanted to try the pigs, was that something you kind of knew was going to be uncomfortable? It was going to be difficult and hard?
Yeah.
And do you think that's one of the reasons why 4-H, I mean, is that something that's kind of built into the 4-H experience, that you get to try these things you might not otherwise get to try?
Yeah, I think in every project there's always going to be something that is going to be like harder that you're just going to have to keep pushing through. But when you're going to look back and be like, that was hard, but I did it.
Exactly. And then you're going to find there's something even harder later on, and you're going to go, you know what, I've done something similar before. I'm going to give it a shot. I mean, I think that, when we talk about all the conversations we've had today about 4-H and just the opportunities that it provides, that's probably your leadership skills and just the ability to face those challenges, knowing that there's going to be some obstacles. I mean, you've got your grandfather you can go talk to, who clearly has probably experienced a lot of them. You've got, and your mom's telling go. Was speech and debate. Is that what that was, that program? I didn't even know that was even an option.
Yeah, so I've competed in 2 different speaking contests.
Okay.
So I've done the demonstration contest that I've competed at the county level and at the state level,
right.
which is where it's basically exactly how it sounds. You demonstrate something as you talk about it. And then the impromptu contest was new to me last year. You get, at the county level, you get a topic, and then you get 7 minutes to prepare for a speech for it with a little note card, and then it has to be a 3 to 5 minute speech. And then at the state level, you have 5 minutes to prepare, and at national level, you have 3 minutes to prepare. But those skills that I learned in those speaking contests helped me a lot. I fully credit them to getting a lot of the scholarships I did, where I had interviews, because it was easier to come up and articulate well.
Right.
Spoken answers at the time.
And especially if you want to go, especially because education is really going to be a focus for you. One of the most important things is you're going to be standing in front of, a group of young people, and you're going to be communicating. Being a good communicator is so important, because kids know immediately whether you're serious or not, whether you're there to really for them, or whether that, you're just there because you just need a paycheck.
Right.
But that's what's really powerful. It sounds like you've really honed in, not only just naturally, just in terms of your leadership skills, but you kind of see where you can go, and the fact that that you like helping people. You get a kick out of seeing that the things that you're doing as a mentor are really helping these young people become better, and the whole 4-H experience from start to finish. So I would assume if you get married and have kids and all of that good stuff, are you going to encourage your kids to be 4-Hers?
Absolutely, because I fully credit 4-H to making me into the person that I am today. And I think that even if they don't show livestock, I did scrapbooking and home design and decor and clothing and cooking and all of that. And so I think that no matter what their interests are, there's a place for them, and it'll shape you in the same way no matter what project.
And that's really important, because I can imagine, and I don't know if this is true or not, you're 4-Hers, but, within the 4-H world, it was so heavily for so many years, dominated by animal, experiences. And, the beauty of it is that there are so many other different things that you can do, and you don't have to touch an animal, raise an animal, show an animal. You don't have to do any of that, and you can still have that 4-H experience. I hope there isn't within the 4-H world, you look at you didn't do anything with an animal. So you're, I would hope that you're all open-minded, and that because it sounds like you're all taking those classes.
Yeah, I'd say we're all pretty well open-minded, and I think the misconception comes from fairs. Like when people go to fairs, they walk through the barns and see the animals. At our county fair, they don't go walk through the event center where everyone's indoor projects are on display. So all the cooking and scrapbooking and
so how do we get them over there? That's another. See, there you go. You're the leader right now. We need to come up with some ways to get them over to experience it, because we did that in the article. We talked a little bit, and I made a point to put some of those pictures in there, because I was surprised, but you got to get people to go over there to see it if you're going to get them to share that story with others.
Yeah, I think it's just advertising it's there and advocating for those projects, because it kind of seems out of the way, and if everything's in the barn, why would something be over at the event center? But it's really cool, like, and anyone who's interested in it to go look and see what you can do and see all the possibilities.
I hope there isn't a budgetary issue. Do you guys, like we talk about, colleges put so much money into sports and they neglect other parts of the university experience. I hope that, the budget is so small that they have to put that all in a separate hall, because there is a lot of emphasis on the auction and on the animals. And granted, that's how the whole 4-H started. But, the beauty is this diversity. I mean, you've got so many different things. You would hope that, that there would be some equity there, because you're all taking the different classes.
I think they just need to be in a different building, because if you have them in the show ring and then all the dust is getting kicked up, then all the cakes are gathering dust on them, and everyone's clothing projects could get dirt on them and stain. And so I think it's just for the sake of honoring the kids' hard work and keeping their projects as clean as possible.
Yeah, and it's such hard work, I mean, animals themselves are already going to require certain things of you every single day, but those projects are just as important, just in terms of starting and finishing, and then being able to show. And like you were saying earlier, you got to meet the judge, and the judge is going to ask you questions, and you got to defend it. And that was hard too for you, because being able to actually defend your project is a really big deal. So kudos for that too. Do you guys have any questions at the very end? This has been really fun and informative. We're going to be uploading this to the Voices of Pueblo podcast. This will be the first of two, the second that we're going to be doing. We haven't set the date yet, but that will be interviewing the 4 4-H students that went to Italy, and that'll be we're going to have a special guest host, Mariana Gatto, and she's going to be able to interview those 4 students, because she has such a great understanding of Italy. So I thought that would be a great way to introduce that. But I want to thank you all for coming today. This has been really exciting. And I hope that you are able to share this podcast with your friends, with your families, other 4-Hers. You got to share it with your grandfather. We'd like to get their reactions too. So I want to just thank you all. And we'll be back next time. Thank you so much for listening to the Voices of Pueblo podcast.